Welcome to the Massacre Matinee.
I feel like we got way too distracted and maybe should just try another intro. How about you?
Good.
We gotta try and keep up a little bit of professionalism, right?
We gotta throw one like weird one in.
Welcome back to the matinee, Kate.
Welcome back.
So we got a new logo.
We got a new logo.
How much did you pay for this logo?
$45 because I fucked up the first time when purchasing it.
Why so much? I can't really complain though. I mean, I
It's
dumped some money
clean.
into the audio stuff, but like I feel like that's kind of necessary for a podcast.
Yeah, but I mean, it was an independent, like, it was supporting an
Truth.
independent artist. Which,
Truth.
you know,
That's an important thing.
yeah. And I got, like, a lot of files for it. So I can make stickers or whatnot.
Good, because we promised stickers ages ago, and instead we made patches.
Yeah.
But I think it was just because our logo wasn't set in. Now we have one, so we can make
Yeah.
stickers. So that's
I
awesome.
actually make stickers and
So,
other things.
what's the case today, Kate?
This one's fucking crazy, and it's one that I saw on the news, actually.
It's
Not
probably
too
the
long.
most recent true crime, like,
We would have
closest
done
to...
it, like, right as it happened,
Yeah.
but then it kind of just, like, other cases were a little bit more...
intense.
Yeah, and this one, it's pretty short, because it is so recent, and not a whole lot of stuff was on. Like, there's been no... I don't think there's even been, like, a sentencing or anything like that, because I'm bad at my job, and I didn't, look it up to see if she was, but typically I don't think she was sentenced quite yet. She is in jail, I know that. But
I would hope so, with how recent it was.
So this happened beginning of August, so I guess 2 months. No,
It's October.
Mhm.
It's beginning... It's actually... as
one day over.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much exactly 2 months.
Yeah. So Nicole Max, very interesting character, done interesting things. I don't have any background on her because it's just, it's a
It's
Florida
so
case.
new.
It's a Florida case.
That's
You
all
never
need to
get it.
know.
You don't get any context. You just
Right.
get the headline, and it was just like, the fuck? I love Florida stories.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So I'm gonna say what her charges were because I think that'll interest you guys enough to know of like what the fuck happened in the span of like 2 weeks with this person. So she was charged with first-degree murder,
Okay.
tampering with evidence,
Okay.
resisting arrest, with violence. Because I think she actually bit an officer when she was arrested.
Oh, because that's a great idea. Who bites a cop?
So it was like the incident actually happened in July. So it took a minute. So during early morning, July 1st, in a Daytona Beach police officer was flagged down by a person on the street regarding that there was a fire down the road. Like, hey, there's a fire. Come running. And they show up and like this house is like
On fire?
yeah, it's up there, and they're able to get it under control and everything like that. They go inside and they find a man laying on the floor dead, and like obviously a fire happens, so they assume okay maybe he died from like smoke inhalation or burned to death or something like that. But
Makes sense.
no, the fire didn't actually quite reach him. So it was like only in like the front of the house, I believe, that the fire was started, and like he was in like a back bedroom.
She did a really, really bad job trying to cover up evidence.
Yeah, we'll learn that. So they take him out. Obviously, like they kind of realize, hey, he's not burned, and they usually do an autopsy because they want to make sure like it was the fire that killed him and everything like that. And then they realize that nope, he straight up has blunt force trauma to the back of his head. So obviously, if you have trauma to the back of the head, if you have trauma in the back of the head and you're like face down, like obviously someone fucking murdered you.
Right.
And he also had multiple stab wounds.
Oh, how convenient.
You don't get that in a fire. Like,
No,
oh
not so
no,
much.
it's burning. I'm getting stabbed. The man was 79. His name was Michael. Inside the house, police found the bloody knife that was used to stab him in the victim's bedroom near his body. So it was just dropped right next to him. So obviously they're like, oh, this person is not smart, just leaving the murder weapon right next to him
and starting the fire on the wrong side of the house.
Right. Yeah, started in the same fucking room. This is not
No
advice.
Don't
For
take
legal
this advice.
reasons,
Don't,
this is not advice.
don't kill people. Don't start things on fire.
Unless they're
But
pedophiles.
realistically, I mean, if you've watched enough true crime shows, you would figure out that you want to start it in like the room next to the room with the evidence, because then it's not the point
Make
of
an electrical
origin,
fire.
but-
Bam.
There you go.
Again, for legal reasons.
For legal reasons, this is not actual advice. Do not start fires. Do
Yeah.
not kill people. Do not give yourself a reason to be a topic in this podcast.
Yeah. So they did some digging. Turns out he had a roommate.
Oh.
79-year-old had a 55-year-old roommate. Nicole was Michael's roommate and everything like that. So they kind of figured that out with belongings that were in the house. So after they found the bloody knife, they kind of were looking around in all the other rooms, and they found in Nicole's bedroom, on the wall next to her bedroom closet, there was just blood.
So, is that where they figure it happened?
They figured that he first got stabbed in her room, and then
Okay.
he went to his room to try to like run away, and that's probably where she like hit him over the back of the
Whacked
head.
him and then stabbed him some more.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Around 3:30 a.m., an officer found Nicole at a restaurant. She had no shoes on, and she had blood like on the side of her leg and a portion of her shirt. So she was still wearing the clothes that she did this in.
Okay. And nobody questioned the blood.
No one questioned it, and you could see where she tried to like cut the blood parts away because it was like torn.
Didn't just change her clothes?
No, just tried to cut it away. Drugs had to be involved.
This happened in Florida.
Florida. So bath salts, maybe? Remember when Florida had that thing where like this new drug was like turning people into quote unquote zombies?
Yeah, the dude ate some dude's face off.
Yeah.
That was also in Florida.
Florida's fucking crazy. Yeah, the part of the shirt like they found later that was torn off, they like found that it did have blood on it, so they were just like, yeah, this bitch tried to like cut off the blood stained
Trying to hide the
parts.
evidence.
But when she got approached by the officer, because at this point she was like walking down the street, she was carrying a different knife and a hammer in her hand. So she's just walking around with a hammer and a knife.
Why?
Yeah. No reason. And she had dropped it, and when they were questioning, she couldn't keep her story straight, so she kept just like saying like, oh no, I'm not this person's roommate, I don't know who he is, and then like, yeah, I do live with him, and like when asked like
Just super inconsistent.
when asked why she was carrying a knife and a hammer, she's like, what do you mean I was carrying a knife and a hammer? I don't know what you mean, I wasn't doing that, like they're not mine.
But they
Like,
legitimately,
I don't know.
like-
they're literally like on the ground next to her.
What the fuck?
She's like, I wasn't carrying them, what do you mean? And then she admitted to being his roommate, denied seeing him at all like that day and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just said that the knife and the hammer, yeah, I always carry those around with me.
That's my pocket hammer, officer. As you can see, my pockets are too small today, so I have to carry them.
I cut them off because they had something on them, but I can't
My wash my
hammer.
clothes, I just cut them to pieces.
And then they were like talking about the fire, and they were like, do you know anything about it? And then she's just like, what the fuck do you mean a fire? And like got all agitated and everything like that, and like refused to speak without an attorney present and everything like that. So they're just like, okay, clearly this bitch had something to do with it. 'cause
Right,
this
right.
is weird behavior. And like while escorting, oh my god, her to the patrol car, detectives informed her that they would be collecting her DNA, because like obviously they gotta check like the handle of the knife that they found next to
Mm-hmm.
Michael's body and everything like that, and like
I'm sure
see
they
if
found
he-
things like hairs and things.
right, and like that's when she was just like, oh no. and then asked police for something to drink. You want to know what the first thing that they gave her was? Good old can of Diet Mountain Dew. This is important. I never thought that I'd be saying that a can of Mountain Dew would be really fucking important in this case.
Which will bring us quickly to our short snack. Our snack today is just pop.
It's a can of Mountain Dew.
It doesn't have to be Mountain Dew. Just
You'd be like me and I have my second Red Bull of the day.
Some kind of carbonated energy beverage. Because I don't want to call out Mountain Dew like that. Despite the fact that it was a can of Diet Mountain Dew that
Dude,
was
the police called that shit out so quick.
The cops did call that out, but...
And, like, at this point, like, she's still, like, giving them shit and whatnot and, like, freaking out. And, like, she's, like, only taking a couple drinks. They're like, well, you fucking asked for this drink. Like, drink it. Because at first she was just, like, holding on to it. Like, she wasn't saying anything. She wasn't drinking anything. So, like, when a detective was just like, fine, if you don't want it, like, I'll just take it back. Because it was, like, I think it was from this dude's lunch and it was, like, all he had.
Oh, jeez. Poor feller.
So they, like, he went to go take it back. And then she's just like... You're not gonna get my DNA, and like pours the Mountain Dew all over herself, all over her hair, all over her clothes that visibly have blood on it, in hopes to get rid of all the DNA that was on her body.
Not how that works.
It's not how that works.
They were requesting to collect her DNA to compare to the crime scene. They're doing a cheek swab.
Yeah. She poured it all over herself.
I mean, she did technically damage/destroy evidence by pouring Mountain Dew all over the blood that was on her clothes.
Yeah.
But they've already got the other piece of the clothing undamaged without the Mountain Dew on it,
right.
and confirmation both visually and like
right.
they
like
know
she never had a straight story either in the first place. And also, they found her carrying a fucking hammer, and this dude had blunt force trauma in the back of his head. Like, what?
Right. Do you think the officers called it out as being a Diet Mountain Dew because he was like, hey, I want to get reimbursed for that? Like
$2 back. This poor officer, you're just trying to be nice. Like,
right.
This lady's clearly distressed. Like,
it's hot. We're in Florida. Have a Mountain Dew.
She's just like, pours it all over herself.
And this is still an ongoing case, which is so fucking great.
I want to be in the room when this court case happens and they're charging her with the fucking destruction of evidence. They're like, what was going through your brain? Pour Mountain Dew over yourself. This case makes me giggle so fucking bad. Like, I feel so bad for the victim, but like at the same time,
I feel really bad for the victim. But like, yeah, what made you think this was a good idea? And this is going to be an ongoing case, so we'll pop back in with more of this too as it updates.
And then at this point, they're like, "Oh, this dumb bitch," and like, so they try to like. At this point, she's officially put like under arrest and everything like that. And they're like, she's fucking punching officers, she's kicking them, she's trying to bite them, and all that kind of stuff. They finally get her into the car. They did take her DNA, you know, because it is just a cheek swab that they do.
Right.
Or even a spit test kind of thing.
Yeah.
It depends on, you know,
how much DNA they need.
Yeah, what they're kind of looking for.
And everything down at the station, so.
And whoa! Big surprise, her DNA comes back on the knife. Whoa.
Oh, who knew?
Who would have thought?
Did they check the hammer, or is that something we don't know yet?
I don't know. I couldn't find that if the hammer was the blunt force trauma. I'm going to assume so.
I would think so, but she did leave the bloody knife. Well, if there was no blood on the hammer, she wouldn't probably have thought to leave it behind.
Right.
Although she wasn't really thinking in the first place. But it's also, why did she grab a second
knife? Like, she had a second knife with her.
Self-defense.
Yeah, see, if she was just carrying one knife, then it'd be like, it's fucking Florida at 3 a.m. Like,
right. But the knife and the hammer, one in each hand, like, you out for blood? Like, what's going on? Just
right.
I'm gonna hit the first motherfucker I see.
Nicole was like, I'm not guilty. Her attorney requested that a doctor examine her to determine if she's mentally competent to stand trial. I don't know the result of that.
Well, she was either on drugs or a dumb bitch.
I'm pretty sure drugs were involved. If they do a toxicology, I'm sure they did when they collected DNA.
Well, it's hard to say because you've got to really have a good reason to do any kind of
drug test. Yeah,
right. It wouldn't.
But maybe
I don't think it would be on.
Do they do that? Like, I'm not entirely sure.
It depends on.
Because I feel like they would have to, because then you got people that go through withdrawals and like that can kill people if they're aggressive enough, depending on the medication that they're on.
It's possible, but I think it depends on the Department of Corrections for that local area. My experience was that from what it was explained to me, because I wasn't a long stay, I was only in like overnight.
I think the fact that it's a murder trial probably.
Right, but what was explained to me is that for the longer stays even, they always spend the first week in a solitary cell near the COs so that they can be monitored. Because I guess like in that particular area they did that as a preventative measure, because they'll ask you, are you on any drugs, legal or illegal, that you might be detoxing and need help detoxing from, and not everybody's gonna tell the truth.
No, and they don't want anyone to fucking die from detox.
But that was them specific. I don't know how it is in other.
I'm gonna assume that they'll probably find some way to.
It wouldn't be unreasonable for them to ask for a toxicology test. Especially with the way she was reacting, like.
Yeah, I think the second that she poured the fucking Mountain Dew over her head, they were like, maybe.
Might have some issues.
But I'm pretty sure that the cops were called on her because she went into the restaurant, like, fucking tweaking out with a knife and a hammer, you know.
Covered in blood.
Covered in blood, yeah.
She can't be in here. She doesn't have shoes on. And the bloody clothes. Like, we sell food here?
God, the fucking voice gets me. All that I know now is that she's in jail without bond. So they really don't want her back on the street.
They don't want her going back out.
I think this is a pretty open and shut case. Like, I think she's definitely gonna see some jail time. But if they come back,
how much is gonna be the question?
Oh yeah, but if they come back and like she actually is like mentally insane, then I mean, then she's gonna be spending some good time in like a mental ward.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's in a psych hospital or if it's in prison. She's spending a long time off the streets.
I think that there's some places where you have to spend time in like a psych ward, and then once you're okay there, you go straight to fucking jail. Like,
right.
It depends though. But yeah, so that was the Mountain Dew case that I've been sitting on.
For 2 months, for good reason. I mean, if we had done that case immediately after, I don't think you would have been able to dig up as much information as you did.
Oh, I guess she also tried to say that she was homeless and that's why she wasn't the roommate and didn't know.
But then she admitted to being the roommate.
Wait, okay. Mark said she was homeless before ultimately admitting that she lived with Michael. However, she said that her roommate lived upstairs and explained that she only went upstairs to feed her spiders.
What?
So we don't know anything else. They probably won't release anything else other than that crazy headline, and I don't feel like going into records.
Well,
unless you feel like going into records.
I will go into records just because it's an ongoing case. I kind of want to see what the actual outcome is going to be, because she hasn't officially been charged yet, has she?
I don't think so. I don't think she's had her court case.
So after the court case is done and over with, we'll probably just touch bases on it. And
yeah, well, we can mention it in like another episode or do a short one.
For sure.
But no, this is fucking crazy. When I first read this one, I messaged Ari and I was like, hey, bitch. Like, I got a crazy one for you.
And just sent me an article.
So yeah, don't pour Mountain Dew over yourselves to try to get rid of evidence.
Mountain Dew does
work.
not destroy your own DNA.
No.
Don't.
What did she think, that it was gonna be like acid and like just burn her body and like ruin it all?
Mountain Dew does not destroy your own DNA. Don't start the fire on the opposite side of the dead body. Don't kill people.
Just don't kill people.
Don't start fires.
Unless they're good fires, like camping fires, fireplace fires, candle fires.
And even then, only do it with adult supervision.
unless you're an adult, then just hope and pray.
Find
that
an
you're
adult.
enough
Find
of
an adult.
adult.
You're an adult.
I promise we're great adults. We pay our bills.
We do. It's definitely been a little bit of a rough week, though. So we'll see you guys next week with some slightly more well done research. This was kind of short notice. I had a bad day adulting, so we had to just kind of pull this case out of our pocket. She's been sitting on this research for a while, so.
I got put into the corner at work, right? I didn't do anything wrong. It's just literally the corner of the building. It's been really lonely.
I'm sorry. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.